Hey y'all, it's April the 16th, 2000 and 2023, and I thought tonight that we'd have a little bit of a news rundown or a summary and stuff, some news items we had been following throughout the week, or perhaps even longer, in which we want to follow up on a little bit here this evening before the sun goes down. All right, so I thought I'd bring them back to your attention, some old time classic favorites. Now, before I start, I do want to mention, remember, and I guess it's a bodyguard. It wasn't an actual police officer, although he was strapped and he should be. Remember the incident that took place outside a bar and we watched the video and it was all sort of chaos and ladies have no class and they were doing diabolical things to each other. And then they were getting totally disrespected, I guess, by I'm guessing the nightclub bodyguards. I guess that's what they are. I don't know, but I didn't see any sort of update on it. So who knows? God bless. We're never gonna hear about this big old fat lady that exploded with cash. I guess we're never gonna hear about it, but I'll keep an eye out for it. All right, just in case it does happen. I wanted to let y'all know that beforehand. That way, if you're waiting on it, we don't have any sort of updates, all right? But, all right, real quick, let's run through what's crucial in San Antonio right now. New Braunfels man charged in the murder of a San Antonio rapper who you can say, you could kind of call a San Antonio rapper. He was living in San Antonio. He was a rapper. I don't know that he's from San Antonio. I heard otherwise. His name is BTB Savage, and we talked about him a little while back. Now, the theory running around the streets was that this was payback for, if you were following along with us, it was payback for an interview detailing the unfortunate demise of a gang member, all right, who tried to commit a robbery on BTB Savage. Didn't work out. He got shot up and down and left for dead in the apartment, but this was a while back, a long while back, a couple of months back. So there was an interview on DJ Vlad in which it was detailing that whole entire incident, and then later on, there was in fact Instagram posts in which there is blood everywhere and dancing and all sort of stuff. All right, you could call it inappropriate if you want. It's highly appropriate these days. All right. So a lot of people's theories was, well, BTP Savage rubbed people the wrong way with that, and they eventually got him. All right. And I always want to reserve my judgment because I don't freaking know. Like, you never know. You never know. And you gotta wait for results. All right. But as it turns out, I'm gonna let y'all know it seems, according to reports, that the streets were absolutely right, actually. New Braunfels man, he was connected to the murder. I don't know if he's the only one, but maybe he was the only one. We're going to have to find out. A New Braunfels man turned himself in to law enforcement on Tuesday, April the 11th, in connection with the murder of the San Antonio rapper in a targeted drive-by shooting. This was up in Houston last month. So he followed him to Houston. Or I don't know why he followed him. It's like he followed him in order to, get away with the crime. He was never ever going to get away with it, as we're going to talk about here in a second. Montreal Leonard Burley is charged with the murder and remains in jail on a $1 million bond. Let's see if you can get that money up. I doubt it. Daryl Gentry, known as up-and-coming rapper BTB Savage, was shot and killed in a vehicle in a River Oaks area of Houston, one of the city's wealthiest areas. It's a nice area. On March 30th, Gentry's mother, Bernita Ward, of course I'm not going to have the same name, told police that he was driving in an airport to fly to Las Vegas, where she lives, to get away from the threats against his life, following a viral interview with the rapper days before the shooting took place, according to the arrest affidavit. The interview with the YouTuber DJ Vlad, blah, 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 racked up all sort of views and stuff like that, all right? But what's important is the rapper said he and his girlfriend left a man identified as Omar Richardson, as we talked about, to die after the shooting him in the back in a firefight. All right, and that should become apparent if if your homeboy or whatever is out robbing people and he got shot dead. You should probably figure why that is. Police did not press charges against Gentry and his girlfriend, and described the shooting as justified, and I do believe it was justified. Ward both posted publicly on social media and told police that Richardson's family had contacted Gentry with threats. They were contacting him with threats. I didn't know about that. Nobody really knew about that. It's kind of behind the scenes. According to the police, Burley and Richardson considered each other brothers, though not blood related. So the guy who they want to catch is named Burley, and he's over here trying to get vengeance for Richardson. So the police, they were able to identify Burley on March 31st through an investigation that linked the 40-year-old to a rental vehicle that was identified by both witnesses to the shooting and the surveillance cameras in the area. So it's like there's all sort of reasons why you're going to get caught, all right? Not very smart. I mean, there's all sort of people stealing cars in San Antonio, and you're like running with a cohorts of criminals, and you go out and rent a car. I'm sorry. Please don't come and kill me and stuff. If he's got friends out there, please don't come and kill me. On March 31st, documents state that Burley and his girlfriend were stopped in a vehicle by New Braunfels SWAT, where the 40-year-old was arrested for the possession of narcotics and taken into custody for questioning, where he told police that he had not recently been to Houston and did not have access to a vehicle. I want to explain just kind of quickly that this is a 40-year-old man running with a gang of criminals, typically. He has a girlfriend driving him around, and when the police come and ask him about a rented vehicle, he lets them know he doesn't have access to a vehicle, and he's a 40-year-old man. That's what I want to explain. It's like most of these gangsters are dead broke until they rob somebody, and then they have to blow all the money, and then they're dead broke again, all right? It's not exactly a good lifestyle. So check this out. His girlfriend, Passion James, was also detained for an underage unidentified misdemeanor charge. Documents said that she told detectives that Burley was not at the house on the day of the shooting and did not return home until later that evening. I want to leave it there. So Passion James has no reason to lie for you, all right? And in fact, you probably didn't even tell her about, what was going down. She had no reason to lie for you. That said, was he there that night? Nah, he wasn't there that night. Oh, well, you're in trouble, buddy. And, you read further through the article, you'll find out that there's, cell phone evidence of Burley being in the area, the rental car, everything else, dude. You want to get caught, and congratulations, you got caught. Freaking loser, all right? You can't even wait because you're so emotional. You deal all from emotions. You're not calculated in any sort of way, or else you would have been more calculated. You suck at crimes. All right, and perhaps you'll go to jail for a long time. Maybe they'll let you out real quick. You never know. All right, so I want to go on to the next story. Actually, how far along are we in it? 8 minutes. Yeah, sun's going down here in San Antonio, so I want to make sure to wrap this up before it's all dark and I get scared. All right. So let's go back to this group of tabs I got up right here. So we covered that. We covered the New Braunfels man, and he was charged for the murder. BTB Savage. See what this is. Southeast side bar fight ends with 2 people shot. This is kind of interesting. I don't know that I'm going to read the whole incident, because of our time constraints. But police say a staff member who tried to step in, and this is all reported, right? I don't know that's what happened, but apparently it was a staff member who tried to step in and defuse the situation that was taken to the BAMC in critical condition, right? A bar fight on the south side. See, a bar fight on the south side? I don't want to be involved in anything like that. Not even on the north side, but on the south side? Hell no. A bar fight on the south side ends up with 2 people shot, including an employee who tried to defuse the situation, and it happened after 2 a.m. at Thirsties in San Antonio, right? He's trying to keep the peace and all that, but here's what I want to focus on. All right. He's trying to keep the peace for some reason. It's none of his business. The staff member was taking a biopsy in critical condition. In critical condition because he had got shot real bad. The second victim, the guy who actually reportedly started the fight, right here it says, the man who started the fight was grazed by a bullet and was treated and then released at the scene. Isn't that something? Don't ever get in between two people about to shoot each other up, all right? It's just not a good idea, buddy. All right, so get that out of the way. What's this say? Woman in critical condition after fight breaks out in the Southwest Side Party. All these places are places I don't like to go. All right, a woman in critical condition after she was involved in a fight on the Southwest Side House Party. All right, this is after 2:11 a.m. See, they found a 24-year-old woman unconscious and suffering from some sort of traumatic wound to her head. And that was after a vicious beatdown. The investigation's ongoing, but a vicious beatdown. Of course, you're going to catch that here in San Antonio. Mess around and find out about vicious beatdowns in San Antonio. And it's unfortunate. You're going to places that I just would never go. All right. And it's unfortunate that I can't. You can go to these places if you have business there, but just stay on your business and leave. I don't know why you would linger. All right. So a Dream Senate matchup. This is by a hopeless pervert. All right. Basically, Robert Rivard, I guess. He says this is a Dream Senate matchup because he's ran by demons. All right. He's demon influenced. Is Coach Pop? I'm not going to explain Coach Pop. You might already know Coach Pop from San Antonio, the Spurs. Who is a menace, who's a thought menace, to be honest with you, and Ted Cruz for 2024. See, I'm just leave it at this. I'm neutral on Ted Cruz. I'm not pro Ted Cruz or anti Ted Cruz. Greg Popovich is just like anyone you've ever met, in which if you try to have a debate and have any sort of pushback on their liberal, that's what they call it, ideology, then very quickly will they grow emotional. Very quickly will they get tears in their eyes. Very quickly will they escalate and physically attack you, period. And you've all seen it. That's Greg Popovich in a nutshell. And if things escalate to the point of killing you, they'll kill you, all right? Because that's how intellectually sound their arguments are. They'll never make a sound argument, but they will get highly emotional and raise their voice. And that's why they're good for politics, according to Rivard, the Rivard report. 3 people arrested after leading DPS troopers on a chase ramming vehicle into a cruiser. Not a big deal, all right? Really not a big deal, but it's not good. These people got arrested, and the reason I took note of it is because the chase started some other place in town, but it ended very, very not far from here. 604 and 281, where deadly pursuit and all this was taking place, and I just wanted to bring it up. Not a big deal. All right, something that happens like every day. All right, so let's get that out of the way. I want to bring this up real quick, because you remember, I think it was on the last video, we talked about a man who shot up 2 children, little babies, and shot up his ex-wife, and only one of the babies died, which is unbelievable. But I gotta say, I'm very offended, and I'm always very offended. These people are not professionals. Dylan Collier is not a professional. And but he gets paid. The thing is, it's just semantics, and I don't want to see babies get shot. Let's get that straight. But we don't know that this is his own daughter, but you want to put it out there like it is his own daughter, and we don't know that. We absolutely don't know that, because that was literally a thing that they were talking about, as reports say. The article goes in to say that this guy was racking up debt, right? Racking up huge debt. There's interesting details that came out about this guy. He's racking up huge debt, and he was gonna about to go through a divorce. Now it's gonna hurt him real bad in the pockets. All right. So he had already had bad debt, tens of thousands of dollars, unpaid golf membership, golf club. All right. And there's more than that actually. So we got the golf debt. He was ordered to pay TPC San Antonio nearly $32,000 as a part of a judgment issued on January. So that's a lot of money and stuff. It's a lot of money. But that's not it. Claire, who applied to become a member of the golf club in 2016, defaulted on payments. And I find this very interesting. We don't know if this is accurate, but it could very well be accurate. He defaulted on payments and was first sued by the club in 2020. Claire, who applied under the name of Dr. Stephen Claire, and I don't know if it already mentioned it, he's not a doctor, right? As it turns out, this guy willing to shoot up babies and his ex-wife was actually some sort of nurse, some sort of expert nurse, which does not make you a doctor. Claire, who applied under the name Dr. Stephen Claire, signed a contract that required him to make annual installment payments of $9,000 on these 3 years. Claire, according to the Texas Medical Board records, is not a doctor and it is instead an advanced practice nurse, whatever that entails. He failed to pay what was required on the contract, but I want to point this out. The two sides eventually settled on the first lawsuit where Claire agreed to pay $16,000, and then he defaulted on the agreement. He defaulted, right? TPC San Antonio to again file suit against him for non-payment. And check this out. Remember, it was $16,000. The judgment against Claire, signed by a judge in mid-January, required Claire to pay the club damn near double it, $32,000. And so stuff is building up for our man Claire. It's just building and building. Officials with TPC San Antonio did not respond to a media inquiry seeking comment for this story. Claire faced massive federal tax liens as well, totaling nearly $1.5 million. See, I'm seeing a situation in which, unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend anybody take the actions of Mr. Claire, but unfortunately, he didn't see no way out of this, it seems, and he's just like, I might as well go to jail because I'm about to be bent over and just, I'm never gonna get out of this debt. I'm never ever gonna get out of it. And he was probably right. So, a family friend of Claire who spoke with KSAT on the condition of anonymity told KSAT both of Claire's parents. See, I want to concentrate on this part real quick. This could be true or maybe not true, but check this out. On the condition of anonymity, a family friend of Claire told KSAT both of Claire's parents had passed away in recent years and that Claire may have run into tax issues while attempting to close their estates. It's so difficult and it's so messed up, and you're gonna find yourself in all sort of debt. People you're related to, if their estates aren't exactly situated before their death, it's gonna get real bad for you sometimes. And apparently, it did that to Mr. Claire. Claire is charged with capital murder of a child under 10, and it might be upgraded depending on if it gets any worse for the other victims. All right, it's terrible, but that's the whole situation. That's the whole situation for Mr. Claire, and he felt like his time was done, and he gave his best, and there was nothing he could do about it. I do not endorse what the heck he did. All right, so all right, as we wind it down, this was like in no particular order, by the way, because I'm not gonna keep stuff in order. All right, but all right, check this out. City leaders, talking about San Antonio. This might be a familiar image. Uh, it's a familiar image for me. We did cover the situation in which two pit variants of animal had attacked an elderly man and an elderly woman too, but they killed the old man. Um, I believe it's somewhere near the west side. City leaders cannot stop dangerous dog owners from adopting more pets. That's a whole situation. It's been carrying on. Of course, it's going to be popular and people are going to want to talk about it. But what I explain is, um, as you can assume, is people all in San Antonio on Facebook or whatever social media calling for the banning of pit bulls and pit bull variants. And some people just live in fantasy worlds. Some people, because they've been raised on Disneyland fairy tales, they think just like anything's possible. It's not really possible. It's like, all right, God bless y'all, and you want to have a movement to eliminate pit bull variants. What you don't realize, even if I was on your side, let's say I'm neutral, what you don't realize is it's like you're saying to ban guns in America. Okay? There's no chance of it. It's not possible. All right? But you're still going to say it like it is possible, and you're going to stamp your feet, and you're going to whine and cry about it because you believe in some sort of fantasy land. It's like saying to ban something off the internet forever. Hey, that lady who got body slammed and the cash exploded out of her, ban that from the internet forever, right? Because I live in a fantasy land where that's even possible. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. It's a very serious situation, but from what I've seen from the people who own the pit bulls, they seem very remorseful, and it seems like a pretty sad situation all around. All right, and I gotta say, one of the female pit bull, she looks just like my favorite dog from back in the day, except she has like this particular pit bull had like a black marking towards the tail, and my dog didn't have that. All right, and my dog, if she's still around, she's very very old at this point. But check this out. All right, here's a few images, and I wanted to finish off on these. I wanted to finish off on these images. And I'll go ahead and I'll put the most vulgar image last. All right. You know, I'll lead up to it. And if you want to not look at it, I can't blame you for doing that because it's vulgar. All right. But check this out. Here's the first image that I saw today on Reddit. Someone put me onto Reddit, and I still don't know. I don't know how to operate it, but it's got stuff all on it. Billboard in San Antonio, other comments show that it's promoted InfoWars before. Oh my God, arrest everybody. It's promoted InfoWars before. Is this one of Alex's conspiracies? Is one of Alex's conspiracies for a new specific end times or just a general world is going to end? So people live in Fantasyland and they'll say whatever they want to say. But if you eliminate all carbon to include carbon dioxide from the earth, everybody will die a horrible death. In 60 days, all life on earth will be gone. All right. Oh, is that a conspiracy theory? Where'd you cook that up and stuff? We just want to eliminate as much carbon dioxide as we can because we're just full of demons and we can't stop ourselves and we can't help ourselves. That's why we got to do it. All right. Check this out. It's an old image. They say it's an old image taken from old time San Antonio. All right. It's an old ass house and I'm sure it's no longer there. And the image is of this dirty old shack. And I gotta say, it's very quaint. That's why I saved it. Dirty, dirty old shack. And what it looks like to me, and I could be wrong, you got a dog right there. And they're just hanging out with little kids. All right. And it looks like a little black boy. All right. But, he's being oppressed, I'm sure, because that's what happened to all the little black boys. They were sincerely oppressed. And he's hanging out with what looks like a Native American or perhaps an Asian. All right, little poor little black boys, or no, a black boy and I don't know. They're hanging out in a shack in San Antonio, and I thought it was a very cool picture. All right, so these are to end the broadcast. It's kind of vulgar. This one's not very vulgar, but it gives you an idea. You already understand that conflict is being manipulated, all right, artificially. And so they're going to see who they can wind up and who they can get to totally lose it and shoot everybody up. It's called Wind Up Toys, and they're shameless and they can't help themselves because they're ran by demons. I'm talking about the media. I'm talking about all these people out here talking about banning guns, right? So if you are one of the queer community, then you heard all of us. I haven't heard none of y'all. And why are you going to put that on a billboard as though you're drawing a line, as though y'all have like an army or something? And this is very, very odd. The queer community can mean anybody. That's the whole point. And y'all vouch for everybody no matter what orientation they have. Y'all are sick and disturbed, ran by demons, and there's no way in the world I'm going to debate you. All right, so let's finish off on the last and probably the most vulgar part of this session tonight. All right, so beware that I'm about to show you something that's kind of related to this picture right here. All right, this man right here was he was he was taking a photo of here in San Antonio, and I gotta say this is a hell of a nightmare. Like, I would never ever want to see this. I would never want to see this. A big old bulky guy, and he's LGBTQ'd out, and he's got like a problem, and the problem is you. And of course, it's going to come strapped up to the protests. And here's the thing, if you haven't noticed already, I'm going to kind of like remove my face. Here, I'll put it up here on the top. This guy, he's all strapped up. He definitely wants conflict with anybody who's not for any sort of queer, just whatever mystery relations that he's endorsed. He wants conflict with you, it seems. I mean, that's why he's carrying weapons. But what I'll also point out is, although that's already very perverse at the beginning, and I would say very inappropriate, I couldn't help but notice that our man has half an erection right now. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it's tell me I'm lying to you. Tell me I'm lying, that's not half an erection right there. So this man standing here, he can't wait for conflict. As soon as you say anything bad, he's going to call you a hater and inflict conflict on you. And he's fully strapped, and he's one of those bears or whatever, and he just can't wait because he thinks you're out to get him. So instead he's out to get you. He's so excited that he has half an erection. He's rubbing his gun on his genitalia. All right, if that's not the most scary and disturbing photo, then I don't want to see what's more disturbing and scary. All right, so I'll holler at y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I want to talk with y'all in a different video concerning the push-ups, all right? Concerning my health and stuff, because there's a lot of weird, wacky details to share about it. And it's going to take a whole entire other video. So, that was the news roundup for San Antonio for the past, week or so. And I'll holla. Let me know in the comment section, what was your favorite story and why. And I'll holla at y'all a little bit later. It is April the 16th, 2020, 2023.